Alright, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the Windmill and welcome to another episode of Cartridge Appreciation. Since it is Halloween, I will be doing a spooky, scary Ghost Month edition. And today I've got 6 games to look at. In case you don't know how this show works, it's not too difficult. I just look at cartridges and discs and give my thoughts and opinions on the artwork that is depicted there. And at the end, I'll give them a ranking, basically, against each other, of course. But with that out of the way, let's get on to the first game, shall we? The first game I've chosen for today, I don't really think it qualifies as a horror game, but it's got a spooky aspect to it, you know. And this game is called Scooby-Doo Mystery for the Super Nintendo. Now to start, I do really like the artwork on here. It's almost like you're the monster and Scooby and Shaggy are in front of you being scared, and then you got the mystery machine in the background. There's a lot of depth in this artwork, and I appreciate that a lot. The only issue I have with this artwork is that it is so tiny. Like, my camera did not want to focus on it at all. I was lucky to get what I got, but other than that, this is a really good piece of art for this cartridge. So we're gonna give that one, thumbs up and get right into the second game. Now up next we have Silent Hill HD Collection for the Xbox 360. I really like this art, but like a lot of the art that I like, it has a lot of depth. You can see a lot of the curvature in her face, and you can really make out an expression on her face. And that expression, at first I couldn't describe, but the more I look at it, the more I think it's like she's dead. She's lying on the ground and she's dead. And that tear streak is just a streak of eyeliner. She probably cried a little bit before she died. However she died, it must have been horrible. You know what? That really fits with the sort of atmosphere that Silent Hill sort of goes for. It sort of gives you that eerie feeling that Silent Hill is known for. I wish I had the original games, but unfortunately this is all I got. And I don't have much else to say about it, so we're going to give this one a good. It's not as good as the Scooby-Doo one. And we're going to move on to game number 3. Game number 3 is Luigi's Mansion. Now, once again, I just want to come out right out and say it. I absolutely love this disc. I like the color. I like the artwork that's depicted on it. You've got the mansion in the background, Boo Woods, all those trees back there. You got Luigi looking scared, obviously, and a Boo. It pretty much tells you everything you need to know about the game right there. Now granted, it's still not, I wouldn't call it as good as the Scooby-Doo one, but it's better in some aspects, right? I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up as well. Again, I wish it had more color, but I kind of rank these discs a little bit differently because they're obviously limited in what they can do. And usually when I'm doing these videos, I tend to stick to one console instead of 5 different consoles in this case. So it is a little unfair to compare a GameCube disc to an SNES cartridge. It's a little bit unfair. And we're going to move on to the next game, which is Resident Evil 4 on the Nintendo GameCube. Now, this version of the game is a special case because it is a 2-disc GameCube game, which is kind of rare. But it gives me more to talk about, despite the fact that these discs are actually kind of boring. The top one is just a white disc with a black title. The second disc is just a black disc with a white title. I do like that they inverted them so that you can tell the difference pretty easily. And I do like the way the bottom half of the disc looks on disc 2 with it being white, because you never see that. It's almost always black, with a few exceptions that we will eventually talk about. But as for Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, I'm sorry, you are one of my favorite games on the system, but the discs are boring. Like, I hate to say it, I don't really care for them too much. That's about all I got to say about it, because there's hardly anything to talk about. I've described the discs, you can see them, there's really not a lot going on. Anyway, this is where I would usually say, let's take a look at the last game. But technically I've got 2 more games to go. Game number 5 for today is Friday the 13th for the NES. Now, I actually really like this sticker a lot. This sticker has stuck with me for years and years and years. This was one of the earliest NES games I can remember playing, and it was actually scary when I was a little kid. It's kind of ridiculous now, but I still enjoyed it. This label art is really, really cool. It looks really nice, and it reminds me of an old VHS box art, which I think is what they were going for. This is a really cool cartridge art, even though it just looks like they took, like a screen capture of the movie and just slapped it on this generic template. But what really gets to me, what I think is just sort of dumb, is that it's you got Jason there, it's Friday the 13th, but why is he standing in front of this psychedelic rainbow thing? Or it even looks like he's coming out of the psychedelic rainbow thing, like that's the door. Has that got something to do with LJN, their rainbow logo? Is that something that they do? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up as well, and we're gonna move on to the bonus game for today. Friday the 13th, the game for Nintendo Switch. And I chose this game because I wanted to compare the cartridge sizes mainly, to be honest. The label art on this is, it's so tiny. What kind of artwork were they actually going to put on there? Some people would need glasses to see this stuff, but it gets the job done. But this is probably the most boring cartridge that I've looked at today, and that's saying something. Although I will say it has more color than Resident Evil. Anyway, that's about it. Now we can move on to the rankings. So how do these games stack up against each other? Well, my rankings are as follows. Number 1, Scooby-Doo. Number 2, Friday the 13th for NES. Number 3, Luigi's Mansion. Number 4, Silent Hill. Number 5 is Resident Evil 4. And the worst cartridge of today is Friday the 13th, the game for Nintendo Switch. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, I believe we can end the video right there. So thank you everybody so much for watching. As always, take it easy, and I'll see you next time.